So, in true fashion of starting before you're ready, I am going to start before I'm ready. So, I want to say welcome to everybody because here I am trying to cobble some things together. And I wanted to share with you some ideas about starting before you're ready. Not necessarily about accents, but about other things. There we go. And look who's going to join us today. It's my little cat, Coconut. If you don't know Coconut, she is surprisingly about 17, 18 years old, but she still acts like a tiny little kitten. And, I just love her very much. And she's going to annoy us probably right here. But another thing that we have today that we're doing is I spontaneously, kind of, we're going to talk about that in a minute, but I bought this the other day and it arrived, I think, yesterday. Today's Tuesday. It arrived on Monday and I've been aching to open it up. And I thought, you know what I'm going to do? I'm just going to do it with you guys to show you how this kind of ties into the whole starting before you're ready idea. So we're going to open that in a little bit. And what else did I want to say about this? So I want to say, start before you're ready. We're recording this live. It's January 20th, which is when most people are giving up their holiday resolutions or their New Year's resolutions. And the point about that I wanted to make is, like, you can start fresh every day, right? What is it about January 1st where everybody is just like, oh my God, I have to start this new thing, and 12 new things, in fact. And yeah, of course that's not going to last. Like, come on. So here we are, mid-January, when a lot of people are abandoning what they did. But I want to think about why is that, right? So if you knew me, and if you traveled with me, which probably is not going to be the case because I'm a solo traveler, I like to travel alone mostly, but I like to way over prepare before a trip. Like, I will know every museum, what are their opening hours, every route to get to all the places. Like, I crazy overplan a trip. But then once I'm there, I don't even care. Generally, I'm just like, oh, maybe I'll do this and maybe I'll do that. And why did I make all these plans? I think it's partly because I'm so prepared already. Like, I'm already prepared, right? So it really doesn't matter at that point. But if I just showed up somewhere and then suddenly I was like, I don't know what to do. Sorry. I need a cough drop because I'm like a little bit dry today. If I just showed up someplace and I was like, oh, now I don't know like where to go, what to do, I would feel like, oh, I have all this like FOMO, or my time is limited and I don't know what to do. And I think all that nervousness would then make me not enjoy my trip. So I'm the kind of person who really over plans a trip, right? So maybe it doesn't apply to travel. And so if you do travel with me, you'd be like, oh, this is great because I don't have to plan anything. Bianca will be like, let's do this and this and this and this, and then in this order, and this is the restaurant I want to go to. Because yeah, that's how I usually am. So in travel, for me, it doesn't apply. Start before I'm ready. But what if I were like dropped out of an airplane somewhere and I just landed? I think I'd be fine with that. So I have kind of like both feelings in this way. For example, starting before you're ready. What was it, yesterday? 2 days ago I ordered this. It came yesterday. And then I thought, okay, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to do it live. I'm going to start doing this live because that's what I plan to do this year. But you know how it is. You're like, oh, I'm going to do this year. It's already mid-January. When's that going to get started? Oh, but I have to do this and I have to check on this and I have all these lists. And after all that stuff, then I'll get started. But I saw something that inspired me and I thought, I'm ready enough. And so that's what made me decide yesterday to say, oh no, I'm going live tomorrow, whether I'm ready or not. Because I know from experience that after you do that, it just gets easier. It gets easier and easier because the worst one is probably going to be the first one. And who's going to remember and who's going to care? So yesterday I decided to do this and I thought, oh, you know what? I'm going to do my laundry. I'm going to set it out. You might not know, but I live in Mexico where it's sunny most of the time. We have rainy season, but everything else is dry. And we had rain a few days ago and it was weird. And then no, yesterday was super sunny. So I said, okay, I'm going to do my laundry, put it out to dry because here the sun dries your laundry in like a second. Wasn't quite dry at night. It wasn't quite dry at night, but I thought, well, in the morning, I'm going to put on some clothes because you might notice the trailer that I made yesterday. Hello, I'm wearing the same clothes. Why is that? Woke up this morning, it had rained all night on my clean, dry-ish laundry, so then I couldn't wear any of that. So I thought, oh, okay, I'm just gonna have to wear this. I also woke up and I kind of realized I broke cardinal rule number 1 with my cat. So Miss Coconut, she has always been obsessed with very fresh water. I think it's because she was found on the street. So, you know, to stay healthy, she wanted clean running water. Well, she's been with me about 15 years and she still will go up to the sink in the bathroom and want me to turn on the little faucet and she'll drink the water there, right? She doesn't always drink water from a bowl. Well, Christmas, I got, as a gift, I got one of those little cat fountains. She loves that. But rule number 1 in my house, you do not go to bed at night and leave a half-empty glass. In fact, you just don't leave glasses out. Even if they're empty, she will knock them over because she just loves this water that's in there. Can I have flowers? Can somebody give me flowers for like Valentine's Day? No, not allowed in the house. She will knock the vase over, break it, possibly. Not okay. So I woke up this morning. For me, it's about 9 o'clock in the morning. And I got up around, I don't know, 7:30, 8. And I myself had left this glass of water out. And I thought, right here on the desk, right, with my keyboard and everything else here. And I thought, what luck that she didn't knock it over. Can you even imagine what would I have done if water had been spilled everywhere? Normally, my glass is like this. It has a top. And she doesn't care. That's fine. She won't like tip these over, surprisingly. But yeah, that was this morning. But you know, no matter how much planning you can do, my point is, you never know like what's going to happen. And I think our experience in starting before we're ready makes us more adaptable, makes us able to better kind of roll with the punches, you know, with those kinds of things. At least that's my experience. So what's my point about this is I decided yesterday to go live and I'm like, okay, I'm going to start this before I'm even ready. I've made a couple of decisions before that. I had said, okay, I'm going to do it on Tuesdays about 9 o'clock because then do like a half an hour and then I have my Accent Academy. My feedback club starts at 10. That'll give me a buffer for breakfast, you know, no problem. I had made some decisions, but I hadn't started yet. And the reason I think that that's an important framework is to say like, there's no such thing as ready, really, right? Like we all just decide where's that threshold, you know. And I would love to hear your comments on this in the chat box too. But like what I want to say is like, if we keep waiting until we're ready, like that day usually never comes, right? We keep, I don't want to say making excuses, but planning, right? Like, oh, I should do this, and if I do this, will be better if I do this, and maybe I need some training, and oh, you know, I want some better equipment or this or that, right? But when we say the right time, oh, I'm waiting for the right time. Well, what's the right time, right? Maybe we do have a threshold. But generally, when I say, oh, I'm waiting for the right time, it's usually like a story that we tell ourselves, you know? And really, if I'm even anywhere near there, probably ready enough is good enough. So I decided yesterday, okay, gonna do it tomorrow. We sent out an email, a little bit of social media. We said, okay, let's see who shows up, you know, and who cares if nobody shows up? I know that this video is then it's gonna be recorded, right? It's gonna be on YouTube. So you might be watching this in June right now, right? But the same thing applies. Start before you're ready. So if there's something that you've been thinking about for a while, I would say just dive in head first, you know? Not for real, not really in water, because there might be rocks and things. But here's the point of me doing this yesterday and wanting to open this thing. Let me tell you what's happening this year. Right now as we're recording, it's January 20th, 2026. And like I said, about 2 days ago, I was watching this video. And that video reminded me of something that somebody else said, a product, a piece of equipment. And I thought, oh my God, that's like the 5th person that's mentioned this exact thing. And every time somebody mentioned it, I thought, you know what, I need to look more into that. I should do that, blah, 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 blah. And it was finally the breaking point that I thought, you know what? No, I'm going to jump in. I'm going to get this thing, and that's going to make me, I think, mentally prepared to cross that line to actually start. So as you can see, haven't even opened it yet, but it still made me kind of mentally prepared enough to do this. So I'm super excited about that. Happened a few days ago. I ordered it. It came. I said, oh, I'm going to open it live. And then I said, you know what? That's going to give me a really good excuse to say what's going on this year, because January is not over yet, right? So the thing that I ordered, it's going to help me. What's it going to help me with? The live streaming. I decided that this year I'm going to do more live streaming. And for me, it's going to be on Tuesdays at 9 a.m. That's about what time it is now for me. I live in Guadalajara in Mexico, so just so you know my time zone. And you'll see some posts about that too, so you'll be able to join. And we're going to have a topic. But those live streams are going to fall under kind of like three buckets, let's say, right? Number one, and I think the most important, exciting one, is I'm going to be doing one-on-one coaching, accent coaching, but mini sessions, because normally my one-on-one coaching is about 45 minutes and with each person one-on-one. But I thought, you know what, let's show people what it's like. So I'm going to go live every Tuesday, and a lot of the times it's going to be one-on-one coaching. So I was looking for some people that I already know, people in my clubs, previous one-on-one clients who are willing to do this, right? People who are not camera shy. That's the big deal. People who are not camera shy and people who are not going to stand me up, right? So I need people who are reliable and people who don't mind showing their mistakes. Because let's face it, a lot of times when people say they're not ready, a lot of times people are just worried that they're going to show some mistake and then they're going to feel bad. So often it comes out of a fear of that, I found. So we're ready to start before we're ready. And four people already came forward and they said, oh yeah, let's do this. This is great. And I really admire their courage. So number one-on-one coaching sessions on Tuesday. So you can see what it's like. You can follow along. And my hope is that you guys can hear what I'm saying, right? So for example, if somebody says, hold on a second, I need to go to the bathroom, right? Can you hear it's a D sound and not a TH, right? You guys who are the audience, I want you to attend these coaching sessions, these live coaching sessions, to see if you can hear those things. Because if you can start hearing some things, then you can change it in yourself, right? But without hearing it, most likely, it's really, really hard, you're not going to be able to change it. So I want people's ears to get better. Before you do anything else, just listen and follow along. Because I can tell you, for me, for example, in Spanish, one of my favorite podcasts is called the group is called Españolistas, and they have a podcast too, and it's a woman and her husband's American, she's Colombian, I believe, and he the American is learning Spanish, and he's making tons of mistakes, and here I am also a Spanish learner, and when he makes a mistake, I think that's a mistake, right? And when it turns out that that's the case, I'm like, yes, right? So number one, I feel good that I can follow along and I can catch those same mistakes that the instructor is catching as well. And so I feel like I'm learning right along with that person. And that's what I want for you guys. So we're going to do one-on-one mini coaching sessions. Number two, another type of live that we're going to do is, if you don't already know, I have a podcast. And normally we record it, we edit it a bit, cut out a lot of silence, and then we throw it up for audio. And we put the video version also on YouTube. Well, we thought, hey, for people who don't mind, let's do a live podcast recording, right? It's a little more interesting. You know, you get to see the ums and the ahs. And then that's another thing that we can do that you guys can take part in, so that when we're having a discussion, you can be a part of that discussion too at the same time. So we're going to do some podcast discussion and recording here live on Tuesdays. And then every once in a while, it's just going to be me. And I'm going to show up and I'm going to kind of tell you my thoughts. So I really realized that, okay, I need to lead by example. I need to start before I'm ready. And I need to show the courage. So I decided, first live stream, it's going to be just me, right? And a lot of people volunteered, and I thought, no, I think I need to do this on my own. So that from here on out, it's just going to get easier, right? Because they're just habits. So that's number one. Number two if you know me a little bit, you know I have some different programs and things like that. Well, you might also know that I'm kind of launching this year what we're calling my 365 accent training, which is every day you're going to get an email, and every day you're going to do the top 365 words that are most important in English, and you're going to fix those. Because like I was saying earlier, the bathroom, how many times do you say the in a day, or should you be saying the correctly in a day, right? So we're going to clean up all of those words that you're already saying, but you might not even notice that you're making mistakes on. So that's 365 accent training. And if you already know, I have this thing called the Accent Academy, and we're upgrading that this year to include 24 courses, right? So if you know that I have a masterclass every last Thursday of the month, which is totally free for my members, which is free, we're taking those and making them into nice polished courses. So I've already got 24 courses, and all of the courses, the polished courses, are going to be included in that Accent Academy membership. So super exciting changes there. Live streaming, upgrades. And then here's the other thing that I'm doing this year is in my YouTube channel, I'm going to be doing more casual videos. And when I say that, if you know some of my videos, I've got kind of 3 styles going on right now. The very highly edited, kind of jump cuts and inserts and very fast kind of video. Usually they're analysis of movies, for example, Spider-Man or Wicked, you know, Hamilton, things like that. Hamilton was the 10-year anniversary this year, so I did a slew of videos for that. There's the fast videos. And then there's a few videos where I'm kind of relaying lessons that I thought were really interesting that would come up during my Accent Academy or my Teacher's Academy. Just things that popped up and I thought, oh, that's so interesting. I think other people would be interested to know about that. So I was relaying kind of lessons from sessions. That was a second type of video where it's really just me kind of talking about what happened, why I thought it was interesting and important, right? What takeaways you could get from that. And then the third kind of video that I was doing was kind of just mini lessons, right? So instead of a whole master class, for example, on R's or TH's or back vowels, it might be just like one little thing, maybe dark L's versus regular L's, for example. So that was the 3 types of videos that I've been doing so far. So this year, I'm going to do more kind of casual, laid-back videos. I don't know about you, but I'm not a big fan of this word ever since its inception, but VLOG, vlogging kind of style. So you know how you'll see people going about their day and, oh, I took a vacation to Cancun. Here's some pictures of iguanas and things like that. Similar in the style, let's say, and the editing, right? Kind of minimal editing, but inserts of me, you know, doing other things. Let's say if I say, oh yeah, you know, for example, oh, I just got this coffee maker for Christmas, and maybe then you would see me making coffee, right? And I had taken that video earlier. So that's the style of video that I'm going to be doing this year. And I thought, oh, that's great, because people can kind of listen like they do with the podcast, but it's not a discussion between me and somebody else. It's a longer video, maybe 20 minutes. So another reason I wanted to come today was saying, can I talk for 20 minutes on a subject? Yeah, definitely. But can I do it in a video, and can we make it kind of a little bit more polished, a little bit nicer, maybe a little bit of music, but not something that I have to really focus on. Something that I could be maybe folding the laundry at the same time as doing, or washing the dishes, right? I want to be able to do chores and kind of listen to this thing, because what I want to do is I want to share kind of how I see the world with accents. And people who know me, people who are already in my clubs, know that like I could talk at length about these things. And so, for example, when I see a sign that is incorrect, right? Or, for example, in Mexico, often you'll see a sign and it'll say closed on Mondays, but it'll say Mondays will be in quotes. And that's just really interesting to me. Like, how do cultures use quotations, right? Would seem universal, but it's not, right? So maybe this idea would lead me to believe, I'm just making this up, but, oh, quotes. Well, in English, when we do quotes, we tend to change our pitch, right? Because what if I'm quoting someone else, right? On this sign, of course, it wasn't used to quote anybody. Nobody ever said Mondays, but it was trying to highlight, it was trying to underline. In my opinion, I would underline that on a sign. But in English, it just got me thinking, okay, if I were going to quote something, how do I change my voice to do that, right? So little videos like that, kind of based on my experience and what I'm noticing around the world, are things that I want you guys to notice too, and maybe some takeaways. For example, the takeaway of that would be, oh yeah, remember when you're reading something out loud, let's say even in your head and you're reading your emails and you see those quotes, remember to change your pitch, going up or down, and here's how you change your pitch. So kind of small little takeaways like that based on some things that I'm noticing in life that you might notice too. So more casual videos are on the way. Let me come back to the main point, is that let's start before we're ready. Am I ready to do these videos? I guess. I mean, I could, right? Because to me, the idea of being ready and the stories that we tell ourselves, it's more like, how do I see that, right? We can tell ourselves, I'm not ready. That's the truth. If you tell yourself that, it's probably true. You're not ready. But what if we told ourselves a different story? What if we reframed it as, what can I see from the past? What has already happened that could make me ready enough, right? Ready enough just to give it a try, just to get started, right? I can always quit later. But I started thinking about, okay, so I saw this video and I ordered this thing online. But what about before that? I thought, okay, what about before that? So you might know I have my very best friend, my dear friend in the whole world. He moved to Spain last year, and he was a video producer. So I inherited some production equipment, which is great. So if you've ever seen my studio, then you probably know that he helped me build this studio before he left, and he helped me with some microphones and lights and helped me find the equipment and stuff. Amazing. That's something that happened to make me more ready to do more stuff, right? Well, not long ago, his old business partner, current business partner, moved to Texas, and he left. Well, he also had a bunch of equipment. So I inherited some more stuff. Well, one of these things, for example, is, tell you about this Post-it note in a second, but is this microphone, this lavalier microphone, which means you clip it here, right? And some of them have a Bluetooth connection. This one you have a little thing you clip on your belt. And this is a great company. This is the company actually, Rode is what I use for my other microphone. And so I'm like, ooh, this is really nice. I'm inheriting this thing. And I thought, but do I need it? I don't really need that, because I've got this camera, I've got this other microphone. Why do I need this? I don't need to walk around. I'm not like a reporter or something like that. And then I thought, well, I've already decided to do these more casual videos. What if I was using my phone and kind of taking you on the trip with me too? What if I showed you the sign and I was talking about the sign with the quotation marks at the same time? Wouldn't it be cool to use this too, right? Okay, I think I'm ready for that step. I'm going to use that word in a second. And so I started looking at it, and I was taking my phone. I thought, okay, phone, microphone, got some stands already, right? I can put it on a stand. That's cool. I could do that. But then I thought, okay, let me check my phone's compatibility with this thing. And I had to write this down. I need another piece of equipment for this. So that happened the other day. I'm like, okay, well, I can't really use it. That's fine, whatever. So I have the name of the thing that I need, and this box is just going to go over here for now. I thought, okay, but I can still take what's called B-roll. Right? So for these casual videos, like we said, maybe I'm talking about making coffee or something, and then you cut to a scene of me making coffee in my new coffee maker, right? So we call that B-roll, and generally they're silent anyways. And I thought, God, I'm horrible at filming myself. I'm just horrible. If you've seen my stories on Instagram, there's not many. It's just I just forget. It's not a task that I do. I'm happy to share my life and things like that, things about my autoimmune disease and things like that, but I just forget, and it's not easy. Yeah, it's not easy enough to make it a habit. So that's where this comes in. So I don't need the microphone necessarily because they're silent shots that we're going to do to go with the videos. But this, do I need this too? I would say no, I don't need it. But it's something that will give me the confidence to push me over the edge to actually do it. And I spent a little bit of money on this, and, you know, not gonna lie, how many people in January, they buy their gym subscriptions for like a year because they have a great deal. How many people have already stopped going? It's January 20th. How many people have already stopped going? So the theory is sound, right? Often you need to spend money to start a thing, right? But I'm gonna hopefully count on you guys to keep me accountable to keep doing this. So I need what's called B-roll. Let me find my scissors here. We can open this up. And we're gonna make some B-roll, but I just don't do it. I don't feel confident. Maybe I need some help. I have a friend who is willing to be what I call my stalker, and she's gonna follow me around and just take this B-roll, right? So we did that the other day for the first time, and I was like, okay, this is easy. I'm not used to it. It's a little uncomfortable, but I started, right? I started that, and I think this is gonna make it a lot easier. So let's open this guy up. So I bought this. I'm going to explain what it is. It's to help me make B-roll either by myself or with somebody who can help me and spend a little time. So let me, how am I going to do this? I'm going to open it like this, I guess. I don't actually know how to do these unboxing videos, but I'm just going to open this like this. And the little strings. Hopefully we didn't cut anything. That's not very graceful, is it? That's okay. Here we go. All right. No sponsorships, nothing like this, but here we go. Inside we've got some paper, which the cats will like to play with. By the way, I have a new cat, if you didn't know. Found her in the engine of the car a few months ago, and obviously kept her. But she's a little bit of a kitten, still a little bit crazy, so I don't like her in here when I'm filming because she will just walk on things and knock stuff over. She's just adorable, but a force to behold. All right, let's throw that down there. So this, taking off the box now, and let me see where the focus is. There we go. Okay, so I'm gonna spell the word. You might not know it. Gimbal. Gimbal is the name of it. And it's a piece of equipment I did not inherit from my best friend, nor from his partner, but I ordered it just the other day because, like I was saying, I was watching this video and they were really recommending it. They said, hey, if you're starting out doing this kind of thing, it's a really good one to use. And then I remembered this other client that I had. And she came to me originally because she said, you know what, I want to start creating content about meditation. And I'm into meditation too. So I thought, oh, perfect. You know, I know the vocabulary you're looking for. I know how to say it correctly. Like, let's do this, right? But English is obviously not her first language. There should be a little tab here. There we go. There's like a little green tab that I have to pull down on to open it up. And she said, I want to make content. Oh, what about this one? About meditation. I said, cool, let's do it. So she bought herself some equipment, and I said, oh, what did you end up getting? But this was way before I saw the video. This was like a year ago at least, 2, maybe 3 years ago. And I said, oh, what did you get? And she sent me the thing at the time. I said, oh, that looks cool. I said, that's a little out of my price range right now. And so forgot about it. Saw this other video a couple days ago. Then I remembered somebody else told me about the same thing. And I thought, okay, I know what I need. Now I just have to jump. Because my theory is that change doesn't always occur like a nice little upward slope, right? It's not like on the charts when you see like do. If you look closely, right, each of those is a step. And if you look even closer, right, if you're like a little ant and you look at a human step in the stairs, you're like, wow, that's enormous. I think most of our progress, most of our change happens in quite giant steps. At least they feel giant, right? So me coming here live to you today to share this with you, like, it's not a small thing. So just keep in mind that I know when you guys say like, oh, I'm gonna start this thing, I know it's a big deal. And so end of story is that like this piece of equipment was recommended to me, and now I feel like I've taken that giant step. And ready. Are we ever ready? No. We're ready enough. So I want to say start when you say before you're ready, because that's really ready enough, right? So what do we have in here? Okay, what am I trying to share with you? Box with stuff. This is a clip. It's going to be a clip for a phone. Let me show you what a gimbal is, first of all. You might not be able to see it very well. It's one of these things you hold on to it here, right? And then it's got like an arm, and you attach your phone. And somebody was guessing yesterday. They said, oh, is it a selfie stick? Well, there's like a selfie stick kind of integrated in it. And, whoops, just dropped that box. And I'll be honest, when I was like trying to take selfies and things, I was just taking a pole. I took a pole and I like attached a thing on it and did not get the right angle, but whatever. And so now I got this, and this, I don't even know how to open it yet. I'm gonna have to read the instructions, but I know in here, if I extend this, it becomes like a selfie stick. And then here's the handle. And I don't want to break it. I don't want to mess around with it too much, but this will come out, and then you hold it out and your phone is attached. And it adjusts. Let's say I'm moving, I'm walking, right? How do people get those shots they look so smooth? And you're like, yeah, but when I try to do that with my phone, it's all wibbly wobbly and it doesn't really look good, right? So it's a gimbal is something that think of it as a gyro stick. I don't know if you guys had those gyro sticks when you played when you were a kid, but you whatever you do, it stays the same. It doesn't look like you are all over the place, right? The picture in the end, the video in the end will be straight and clean and nice. So this is the new thing that I got, because this is what I think is really gonna give me the confidence, right? Do I need it? No, I could just be more still. I could just set up a tripod, something like that. But I've been watching how there's some interesting things that you can do that's also gonna help with the editing later. And I thought, you know what? This is something I'm gonna invest in. So, do I need it? No. But here it is. Do I need it? No, but here it is. So this year I'm gonna kind of work more on my tech skills so that I can bring you guys some more interesting things. So this is a gimbal. It's called a gimbal. And what happened before that? Well, my best friend moved to Spain. Well, his production partner moved to Dallas. So I suddenly have some equipment that it's like, I want to find a way to use this. Like, there are no excuses. Like, I don't have any excuses. And when we say we don't have time and we don't have money, it's just a story that we tell ourselves, I think, when we say, I'm not ready. Because when you realize that a lot of things have been kind of leading you up to a certain point, I think that's when you say, aha. So instead of thinking, am I ready? Answer's probably going to be no. Look back in your life and say, aha, I see all those things that have lined up. They could say, you know what? Maybe I can start. Maybe I'm not necessarily ready, but we're never going to be ready. So good enough. I think there was a quote somewhere that I said that said 70% ready is 100% good enough. So that's why I wanted to get on here today to tell you guys about the changes that are happening this year, right? We're going to be doing some different style of videos. This is going to be a big part of that. And so I wanted to share the unboxing with you and see, and if you guys have any ideas. Oh, by the way, the name, let me tell you, the name is I've got it written down here for a second somewhere. I just dropped the box. That's why. Let me see if I can reach it. There we go. Okay. It's called the DJI Osmo, OSMO, Mobile 7P. All right, so that's the name of the gimbal that I got, and it's gonna encourage me. It's gonna help me take that last step to actually do some of this stuff. You guys are gonna encourage me. I've got the accountability now. I'm gonna be going live. I've already got people who are interested. Now it's like, okay, I just gotta do it. It's not easy. It's never going to be easy, but we can make it easier, I think is what I really wanted to come in and say. So again, the right time, that's just a story that we tell ourselves. And I think we're all ready enough. Actually, I would love to hear if you guys have any stories like that where you were like, I didn't think I was ready, but I took the plunge anyways, and here's how it turned out, right? Maybe you succeeded, maybe you failed, but still, I think the important thing is like taking that step, and it's that indecision that really holds us back. And to me, the idea of what happened before that does make me ready enough to do this. I think looking backward is way more important than looking at right now and saying, oh, am I ready? Or looking at the future, maybe being worried about what could go wrong or something like that, right? So I hope that you guys join me on this journey this year. We're going to be having some different kinds of videos. We're also going to have that, like we said, 365 accent training, and we're going to upgrade the Accent Academy. We're going to open and close the doors. I think it's in March for that. So we're going to have 24 courses included in that membership, full courses for that, all the masterclasses that I do. And in the meantime, guys, please join me for some more live streaming. I'm happy to answer your questions. And if you're not already a part of my community, then please join that. It's totally free, and you get the free monthly masterclasses there. So I'm going to put that link of that in the description. And I wanted to say thanks, guys. I'm so excited to share this with you today. And I will see you next week when we're going to start actually our one-on-one coaching with somebody really, really interesting. Actually, it's somebody who, when I mentioned this, he came forward. He's an old client, and he said, you know, I've had some changes recently. I've had some issues, some problems, and I had to get this job that I didn't really want, but the expectations are very, very high, and I need to keep this job, he said. So can we do some classes? And I said, you know what? We're starting this thing, and I know you very well, so you would be the perfect person to do this with. I'm super excited to share this person with you. I've got somebody else from my Accent Academy who you may have seen. I've done videos about before. He asks really good questions. Of course, somebody who's here right now, our moderator in our community, William, has also volunteered to say like, oh yeah, I'll do that with you. So if you this is something that's interesting to you, and you want some of these free but live coaching sessions, then it has to be somebody I know. So get into my community today. Let me get to know you a little bit. And there's so many benefits to being with this wonderful group of people who are from all over the world and like the same things that you do and have the same goals. So with that in mind, I'm going to say goodbye for today, and I'll say see you next week for our, here he is, he's in the chat box, he just said, and we're going to say see you next week for the very first of our one-on-one mini coaching sessions. Bye everybody, see you soon.